Top 3 True Midnight Shift Horror Stories. Number 1. The Phantom Patient of Room 237. My name is Sarah Thompson, and I've been a registered nurse for over a decade. I've worked countless night shifts, but one particular night still haunts me. It was a quiet Tuesday evening, the kind that makes you uneasy because it's too quiet. The hospital corridors were dimly lit, and the usual hum of activity was absent. I was assigned to the East Wing, which had recently been renovated and was known for its state-of-the-art facilities. Around 2:30 a.m., I was reviewing patient charts at the nurses' station when I noticed a figure out of the corner of my eye. A man in a hospital gown walked past the station and entered room 237. This caught my attention because room 237 was unoccupied. It had been prepared for a new admission scheduled for the following morning. I quickly got up and followed the man into the room. To my surprise, the room was empty. The bed was neatly made, and there was no sign of anyone having been there. I checked the bathroom and the closet. Nothing. Puzzled, I returned to the nurse's station and asked my colleague, Mark, if he had seen the man. Mark looked at me, confused. "I didn't see anyone," he said. "Are you sure you saw someone?" I was certain. The image of the man was clear in my mind. Medium build, short brown hair, and a blank expression on his face. I decided to check the security footage to confirm what I had seen. We accessed the surveillance system and rewound the footage to the time I saw the man. To my astonishment, the video showed me standing up and walking toward room 237, but there was no one else in the frame. No man, no movement, just me. I felt a chill run down my spine. How could that be? I know what I saw. Mark tried to reassure me, suggesting it might have been a trick of the light or fatigue playing tricks on my mind. But I wasn't convinced. Later that night, I spoke with another nurse, Linda, who had worked in the hospital for over 20 years. I mentioned the incident to her, and she looked at me with a knowing expression. "You're not the first to see him," she said. "Several staff members have reported seeing a man matching that description in the East Wing. Some believe it's the spirit of a patient who died years ago under mysterious circumstances." I was stunned. I had heard stories of haunted hospitals, but I never thought I'd experience something like this firsthand. Since that night, I've continued working the night shift, but I always feel a sense of unease when passing by room 237. I haven't seen the man again, but I can't shake the feeling that he's still there, watching, waiting. Some things in this world can't be explained, and perhaps they're not meant to be. But one thing is certain. That night changed me, and I'll never forget the phantom patient of room 237. Number 2. The Haunted Morgue. My name is Daniel, and I've been working as a night shift orderly at St. Mary's Hospital for over a decade. The hospital, built during World War II, has its fair share of ghost stories, but I never paid them much attention until that night. It was a cold winter evening, and the hospital was unusually quiet. Around 2 a.m., I was tasked with transporting the body of a recently deceased patient to the morgue. I followed the standard procedure, cleaned the body, placed it in a body bag, and secured it on the gurney. As I wheeled the gurney down the dimly lit corridor, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The air felt heavier, and the usual hum of the hospital seemed to fade into silence. When I reached the elevator, I pressed the button for the basement. The doors opened, and I pushed the gurney inside. As the elevator descended, it suddenly stopped on the 3rd floor, which was odd, since no one had called it. The doors opened to an empty hallway. I waited, but no one entered. The doors closed, and the elevator continued to the basement. Upon arriving, I wheeled the gurney toward the morgue. As I turned a corner, I noticed the body bag's zipper was partially open. I was certain I had zipped it fully before leaving the ward. I stopped and zipped it back up, attributing it to my own oversight. Continuing on, I felt a sudden chill, and the lights flickered briefly. I reached the morgue and transferred the body onto the storage rack. As I turned to leave, I heard a faint rustling sound. I looked back and saw the body bag's zipper slowly sliding down on its own. Frozen in place, I watched as the bag opened halfway before stopping. Summoning my courage, I approached and zipped the bag shut once more. I quickly exited the morgue, my heart pounding. I didn't report the incident, fearing disbelief or ridicule. But from that night on, I made it a point never to transport bodies alone. Some things in this hospital remain unexplained, and perhaps it's better that way. Number 3. The crawling man on the rooftop. My name is Emily, and I work the night shift from home. My apartment is on the second floor of an old building in the city. It's the kind of place where the walls creak and the floors groan, especially during the quiet hours of the night. One evening, around 2 a.m., I was taking a short break from my work. The apartment was unusually silent, with only the soft hum of my computer and the occasional car passing by outside. I stood up, stretched, and walked over to the window. The city lights twinkled in the distance, casting a faint glow over the rooftops. As I gazed out, something caught my eye. At first, I thought it was a trick of the light, or perhaps a shadow playing tricks on me. But no, there was definitely a figure on the rooftop across the alley. A man crawling slowly, deliberately, as if searching for something. His movements were unnervingly smooth, almost unnatural. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. The man didn't seem to notice me watching him. He continued his slow crawl, moving from one end of the roof to the other, then back again. The eerie silence of the night made his movements even more unsettling. I considered calling the police, but what would I say? There's a man crawling on a rooftop? It sounded absurd, even to me. I decided to keep watching, hoping he'd disappear as mysteriously as he'd appeared. Minutes passed, each one stretching longer than the last. The man remained on the roof, his presence a growing source of dread. Then, without warning, he stopped. He turned his head slowly, as if sensing my gaze, and looked directly at me. I recoiled, stepping back from the window. My mind raced. How could he have known I was watching? I hadn't made a sound. I dared not look back out. But I couldn't shake the feeling that he was still there, watching me. I spent the rest of the night in a daze, unable to focus on my work. The image of that man crawling on the rooftop haunted me. His eyes burned into my memory. The next morning, I spoke to my neighbor, an elderly woman who lived alone. She mentioned hearing strange noises on the roof the previous night, but dismissed them as animals. I didn't tell her what I'd seen. I wasn't sure anyone would believe me. Since that night, I've kept my curtains closed and avoid looking out the window after dark. The memory of that man crawling on the rooftop lingers, a chilling reminder that some things are better left unseen. Subscribe for more chilling horror stories.